Hello everyone, welcome to the recorded pre-laboratory discussion for our second to the last laboratory exercise, red and white blood cell count. The objectives of this exercise are: number one, discuss the purpose of performing manual cell count in today's era of advanced technology. Identify the equipment and reagents needed in hemocytometry. Evaluate the use of isotonic and hypotonic solutions in cell counting. And compute accurately RBC and WBC count based on given data. So further, before we go further, let us have an idea first about the manual hematological methods. You might ask, no, why do we still need to study manual hematological methods? Marami naman na tayong machines. May Sysmex tayo, may Hisel tayo, etc. So, manual hematological methods or learning about manual methods are very important because they still serve as the basis for modern technological procedures. Yung mga machines na meron tayo ngayon, nagsimula yan dun sa mga principles na na-set nung na-imbento or nung na-develop yung ating mga manual methods. Also, manual methods remain to be an alternative in cases of machine breakdown. Kunyari, pumunta ka sa secondary laboratory or sa primary laboratory, the DOH sometimes still requires you to have the reagents for manual methods kasi yun yung kinoconsider natin na backup every time or in any case na hindi gumana yung machine natin. Kaya naman, as medical technologists, we should also be knowledgeable about the manual methods. Yung pag-perform ng hematocrit, di ba? Yung nagsicentrifuge tayo. Ano pa? Yung mga itong gagawin natin na manual cell counting, dapat knowledgeable pa rin tayo para pag dumating yung panahon na yun, we would still know what to do and we would not be highly dependent on our machines. Third, manual hematological methods can be used as a support for verifying doubtful results. For example, sabi ni Hisel high count, ang WBC count mo is 15, diba? So that's very high. It can indicate an infection or something else. So before you release that abnormal result, you can perform manual methods to verify if the result is really increased and it is not due to machine error. And lastly, okay, when we talk about manual methods, marami na tayong na-discuss or marami na tayong na demonstrate in the past weeks in hematology laboratory. But for now, we're going to focus on one particular manual method, and that is called hemocytometry. In other references, it can also be called hemacytometry. So, pwedeng maging letter A ito. But both of them are correct. Hemocytometry, as we've said, is a manual method of cell counting, and it determines the number of cells per UL or per microliter or liter of whole blood. And it is performed using three key equipment or key instruments. Number one is the use of your counting chamber, also known as the hemacytometer or hemocytometer. The use of your thermopipettes, although now, syempre dahil nga ang dami ng innovation na naganap, we can use automatic pipettes. Pero before, we used to use thermopipettes. And lastly, our diluents. In our lecture in the prelim period, we have already learned about the different diluents, diba? If you remember, nini-reiterate pa natin na pag RBC count, dapat isotonic. Kapag WBC count, hypotonic. So, that is the purpose of our diluents. And also, not only that, the diluents will allow us to count the number of cells na hindi sila overcrowded. No? So, we dilute the blood sample to a certain degree, to a certain level, para hindi naman sila masyadong patong-patong dun sa ating counting chamber. So, these are, again, the most important parts of our hemocytometry: the counting chamber, the thermopipette, and the diluent. Again, sabi sa RODOC 7th edition, ang nire-recommend na nila ngayon ay ang automatic pipettes na you might be using in the clinical chemistry laboratory. So before we proceed, what are these pictures? So this is your Neubauer counting chamber, also known as your hemocytometer. This is your thermopipette. And how will we know if this is an RBC pipette or a WBC pipette? Okay, kapag red yung bead, diba, it is an RBC pipette. Kapag white naman yung bead, it is a WBC pipette. Another recap question. What are the graduations found in your TOMA pipettes? Natatandaan niyo pa ba yun? So, kapag RBC pipette, the graduations are 0.5, 1, and 101. But for WBC pipette, the graduations are 0.5, 1, and 11. So, yun po sila. And then this is an example of our diluent, and we're going to discuss the commonly used diluents for both RBC and WBC manual count. Dito muna tayo sa RBC manual count. So, this is expressed as the number of RBCs per liter of whole blood. Pwede din naman per microliter of whole blood. And abnormal results are called or are termed polycythemia if the count is increased, anemia naman if the count is decreased. So, alam niyo na to because this is our topic in hematology lecture this grading period. Now, what are the different diluting fluids that we can use in the laboratory? The first one is the DACY's formal citrate solution, and this is described as the best diluting fluid. Again, ano ang best diluting fluid for RBC count? DACY's formal citrate solution. Why is it the best? Because it is cheap and easy to make, the red cell shape is maintained, and it prevents the growth of bacteria and fungus. And these are their ingredients. Ayun. So, again, before we go further, what would be the tonicity of our RBC diluting fluids? Dapat isotonic. Kasi pag isotonic, the cells will not shrink and the cells will not lyse. So, mapoprotect natin or ma-maintain natin yung shape and viability of our red blood cells. Another common diluting fluid is the Hayem's fluid, which can also prevent growth of bacteria and fungus. However, the fluid needs to be renewed frequently to avoid RBC clumping. Kaya hindi siya best kasi nakakaano pala siya pag masyado ng matagal. It can induce RBC clumping. What is another disadvantage of the Hayem's fluid? It contains mercuric chloride. Di ba we don't like mercury? So, it contains mercuric chloride. Oops, bumalik. The third one is Gower solution. Gower solution also prevents ROLU formation and precipitation of proteins. However, it can cause slight crenation of your red blood cells. Hindi rin siya best kasi may mga disadvantage siya. Next is the Toyson's fluid. This is the last. The Toyson's fluid is considered difficult to prepare and the RBCs tend to settle very slow. And these are their following ingredients. So again, which among the four, nakailan tayo, diba? Naka-4 tayo na diluting fluids that is considered the best, it would be the DACY's formal citrate solution. So nakita na natin yung ating counting chamber dun sa picture. Na-review na din natin kung anong ibig sabihin ng TOMA pipette and ano yung useful na, ano yung bead na meron siya, tsaka ano yung mga graduations na meron siya. Tapos natutunan na din natin na nowadays we can use the automatic pipette for hemocytometry. Tapos next, we already learned about the different diluting fluids that we can use in the laboratory. So now, okay, let us imagine, kasi naka-asynchronous tayo, no? So let us imagine performing the hemocytometry. These are the materials. These are also found in your laboratory manuals. Kindly check na lang po. As for the procedure, ayan, it will begin with specimen collection. What is the tube that we use, or what is the type of sample that we use or we collect? We collect blood in lavender or EDTA tube. After that, we are going to dilute the sample using our best diluting fluid, which is the DACY's formal citrate fluid. Okay, gaano karaming, ano yung level of dilution na gagamitin natin? We're going to mix 5 UL. Try to imagine you're holding your automatic pipette and you have your clean test tube. You mix 5 UL of blood sample in 995 UL of normal saline solution. You can also replace this with your DACY's formal citrate solution in a separate test tube. This produces a total volume of 1000 UL. Yan, or 1 ml, and the dilution of 1 is to 200. Bakit siya naging 1 is to 200? So, to get the 1 is to 200, 5 over 5 over 1,000. Ayun. 5 over 1,000, if you simplify that, it would be 1 is to 200. Bakit 1,000 na ginamit natin at hindi 995? Because we have to use the total volume as our denominator. So 5 over 1,000. If we simplify that fraction, it is also equal to 1 over 200, or 1 part blood. Ayun. In a solution with a total volume of 200. Next, fill a non-heparinized microhematocrit tube with a diluted blood sample. So, anong band kaya yung gagamitin natin dito? Red or blue? So, we're going to use blue. Bakit non-heparinized? Siyempre, hindi tayo pwedeng gumamit ng red or yung anticoagulated capillary tube because we already have our EDTA. So, we're going to use a capillary tube with a blue band. Okay, to obtain our diluted blood sample. After that, we are going to charge the Neubauer counting chamber by tilting the microhematocrit tube at a 45-degree angle. Okay, parang hindi natin to magagawa or baka mag-overcharge tayo pag gumamit tayo ng pipette, no? At saka pipette tape. Kaya it is best to use a capillary tube or a microhematocrit tube instead. What is the angle? 45 degrees. Allow the drop of blood from the tip of the tube to touch the chamber, and the capillary action should allow it to fill the grid under the cover slip. Ensure that only adequate amount is charged and that no excess blood spills into the mold. Para ma-appreciate nyo, no? This is our counting chamber. Tapos, ito yung parang mga kanal or ito yung parang mga moat na meron siya. Sabi niya, very careful lang daw sa paglalagay ng blood kasi kapag nag-spill na po yung blood dun sa ating mga moat, it's already considered invalid. So, invalid na po yun. Okay. How do you charge? How do you charge your Neubauer chamber? So, first you have your counting chamber, of course. But before you add the blood, there is a cover slip, a thick cover slip. It's not an ordinary one. It's actually very hard to procure, no? But it is a thick cover slip that you will place on top of this chamber. Tapos, dito sa chamber, meron tayong dalawang grid na available. Kung i-zoom in po natin to, okay, this is the grid that I am referring to, and there are two grids available in one chamber. So, one here at the bottom and another one at the top. So, try to imagine, maglalagay tayo ng cover slip dito. Tapos, meron tayong capillary tube. I-drop natin yung blood along the edge of the cover slip and the counting chamber, and then through capillary action, mag-spread yung blood dito sa ating grid. So, yun po yung nangyayari sa hemocytometry. Okay, suppose that we have already successfully charged our counting chamber. You are supposed to stand the chamber for 10 minutes to allow the cells to settle. So, yung proper distribution ng cells. Kasi ayaw natin na nagkukumpul-kumpul sila sa edges. So, we have to wait for 10 minutes for them to be evenly distributed across the grid. To prevent drying, we can place it inside a Petri dish with a wet gauze pad. Do you still remember? I don't know if you still remember yung sa parasitology laboratory where we prepare a Petri dish with 2 applicator sticks tapos may gauze pad na moist. So, yun po yung pwede natin gamitin for this one. I can just show you, no, pag nag-meet na tayo in the laboratory, pag nag-on-site classes na tayo. And then, place the chamber under the microscope after 10 minutes. Using low power objective, look for the central middle square and switch to high power objective and count the cells in the four corner and middle and small squares. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? If this is our Neubauer counting chamber, or Neubauer chamber, pag zoom in po natin itong grid na to, ito yung makikita natin. So, the grid is composed of many squares, no? Ang daming squares. But for us to understand it more easily, this is the grid, and the grid is made up of 9 large squares. So, itong big squares na to, we call them large squares. There are 9. So there is a central box, and the box is divided into 9 large squares. So for RBC count, okay, dito tayo tumitingin sa middle large square. However, when we look at the middle large square, meron pa siyang maraming square sa loob. So we can say that the middle large square contains 25 medium squares. Again, if this is the middle large square, inside that, there are 25 medium squares. So, bakit 25? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tapos, 5 din siya na rows. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, 25 medium squares. Pero, pag zoom in pa natin lalo, yung ating mga 25 medium squares, marami din siyang squares sa loob. So, ang tawag na nun ay small squares. And how many small squares are there in one medium square? Parang puro square na lang yung script natin, no? How many small squares are there in one medium square? There are 16. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, tapos 4 rows din. 1, 2, 3, 4. Total of 16. So, how do we read our RBC count? Okay, we look using the LPO. We try to look for the central large square or the middle large square. And then, inside the middle or central large square, we are just going to count RBCs in its 4 corner medium squares and at the center medium square. Nakuha po ba yun? Again, hindi po natin babasahin lahat. Pipili lang tayo. Dun lang tayo sa 4 corner medium squares plus the central medium square. Okay. In real life, ganito po yung makikita natin under the microscope. So in the LPO view, this is the whole grid. Here we can see the 9 large squares, diba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And in the middle, makikilala natin yan agad kasi kung makikita nyo, yung mga corner large squares natin, wala silang grid sa loob or wala silang small squares. Pero yung gitna, very clear, no? Very clear yung kanyang middle and small squares. Pag zoom in natin to using our high power objectives, makikita na natin yung 25 medium squares. So, ito na po sila. And inside the 25 medium squares, nakikita na natin yung 16 small squares. So, saan tayo magbibilang ng RBCs? In the middle. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In short, so dito po sa 1st, 5th, 13th, 21st, and 25th medium squares of the central large square. Can you still follow? So, I hope you can follow pa, no? So, yun po yung ganap natin. Dito tayo magbibilang ng RBC. Okay, pag tinanong kayo, so what is the total area? Because later you will find out that the area of these squares are important in computing for the final RBC count. So, what is the area? Okay, first, always remember that one large square is 1 millimeter squared. So, the area of each large square is 1 millimeter squared. And so, okay, we can say, for the central large square, no, we can say that one medium square is 1/25. Okay, 1/25 of 1/25 millimeter squared. The area of one medium square is 1/25 millimeter squared. So, if we're going to count, okay, if we're going to count the number of squares for RBC count, ayun, the total area of these 5 squares is 5/25 millimeter squared. So, yun po yung area na ginagamit natin for manual RBC counting. Okay. How do we count our RBCs? We talked about this during reticulocyte counting. So, para hindi po madoble yung bilang natin, we can choose 2 edges na every time the cells would touch those 2 edges, ika-count natin sila. Pero kapag yung other 2 naman ita-touch ng cells natin, hindi natin sila ika-count. For example, in this illustration, the top and left edges are considered in our cell count. Meaning, if our cells would touch the upper and left edges or left lines, counted po sila. But if they're going to touch the lower and right edges or right lines, hindi po sila masasama. Kaya they are written like this. So, medyo hollow yung cells nila. So, for example, dito sa ating picture, no? Kung i-consider lang natin ay yung top and yung left lines, so any cell that would touch, yan, lahat na nakikita nating cells dito, counted po sila. Or lahat ng cells na nakikita dito, for example, this one and this one, also these 3 cells, they are all included in our count. Pero, if the cells touch these lines, yan, the ones marked by the yellowy lines, hindi po sila isasama sa ating tally. Ganon din, no, kapag we are going to use the smaller squares as a guide, para hindi mag-overlap na binilang natin siya dito, tapos pagdating natin sa baba, bibilangan na naman natin siya. We can also use that guide na if they touch the upper and left lines, counted pa. Pero, itong nasa ilalim, hindi muna. Okay lang yon kasi pagdating natin sa second row, kasama na po sila sa ating count. So, hindi po nadodoble yung mga RBCs natin. So, that is for the manual RBC count. So, before we proceed, ano yung mga unique features, no, ng manual RBC count? Number 1, the dilution is 1:200. And number 2, for the area, we count the cells in the 4 corner medium squares and the central medium square of the central large square. What is the total area of these 5 squares? 5/25 millimeter squared. So, punta na po tayo sa white blood cell count. So, same lang din, expressed in number of WBCs per liter of whole blood. Pag increase WBC count, it's called leukocytosis. Pag decrease naman, leukopenia. For the WBC diluting fluids, what would be the tonicity of these fluids? They are all hypotonic. Bakit siya kailangan maging hypotonic? Para mag-lyse yung red blood cells at mas maganda yung view natin ng mga WBC. Hindi sila nag-obstruct ng process natin. So again, what is the tonicity of these diluting fluids? They are all hypotonic. Okay, we follow almost a similar procedure for manual WBC count, but this time, our total volume is 500 UL lang po. So, 25 UL of blood sample in 475 UL of WBC diluting fluid. This produces a total of 500 UL and a dilution of 1:20 or 1/20. Okay. There is an additional step though. So for WBC count, hindi po pwedeng agad-agad i-charge, no? Dahil nga po, ang goal ng ating diluting fluid ay i-lyse ang ating mga red blood cells. We need to wait for 10 minutes for the solution to work. Okay, so we have to wait for 10 minutes for the hypotonic diluting fluid to lyse our red blood cells before we can charge our Neubauer counting chamber. So ito lang pong step number 2 ang tatandaan natin. But for the rest, we use almost a similar procedure. So ganun din pa nag-charge tayo, we have to wait for the sample to be evenly distributed under the cover slip so that mas maganda mas accurate yung count natin. Paano yung area? Okay, so place the chamber under the microscope. Using low power objective, look for the 4 corner large squares and the total area of these 4 large squares is 4 millimeter squared. Okay, paano tayo naka-arrive, no, sa 4 millimeter squared? Kasi nga po, the area of 1 large square is 1 millimeter. Therefore, pag 4 na large square, edi 4 millimeters na po yun. So, total area is 4 millimeters. So, after that, we compute for the total cell count. So, this is for the WBC count. Okay, dahil, para mas ma-appreciate nyo din dun sa RBC count, ito naman yung difference niya. So, ang difference niya, for RBC count, the total area is 5/25 or 0.20 millimeter square. So, this is the total area for RBC count. So again, ito po ang ating picture. I-charge po natin siya. So meron tayong thick cover slip dito, no? Tapos i-charge natin siya, making sure that our sample does not spill into the moat of our counting chamber. Ano ibig sabihin ng 10 minutes? Kasi gusto natin evenly distributed yung sample sa ating grid. Ayan. So this time, saan tayo magbibilang ng WBC? Sa 4 corner large squares. So anong total area niyan? 4 millimeter square. 4 millimeter square. Under the microscope naman, ayan, dito tayo titingin. Okay, additional pictures. So yun lang naman po yung gusto nating i-emphasize, no? Saan maghahanap kapag WBC, saan naman maghahanap kapag RBC. Sabi dito, ano daw yung manner of reading natin? Battlement din. So, one direction, tapos bababa. Ayun, hanggang sa mabasa natin lahat ng squares. Ayan. So, sabi dun sa ating instruction, if you go to our lab manual, ang last step natin ay compute for the total cell count. So, paano tayo magko-compute? O let's say nakabilang na tayo. Kung naka 200 na WBC, na RBC tayo, anong sunod, diba? So, the next step is to apply our formula. The formula for the manual cell count is equal to number of cells counted over or divided by area times depth times dilution. Another version of the formula is number of cells counted times dilution factor over area and depth. Ano pinagkaiba ng dilution and dilution factor? The dilution factor is simply the reciprocal of your dilution. For example, kanina sa RBC count, ang dilution natin is 1:200. Ang dilution factor nun ay simply 200. Diba? So, wag po tayo malilito sa dilution and dilution factor. Okay. I-compare natin yung formula between RBC and WBC. So, we use the same formula, pero ano yung mga values na pinaplug natin? So, pag dilution, pag RBC, anong ipaplug natin dito? 1:200, diba? Pag WBC, anong ipaplug natin? 1:20. For the depth, constant po to, hindi po ito nagbabago because the depth corresponds to the distance, no, between the cover slip and the Neubauer chamber, and the depth will always be 0.1 or 0.10 millimeter. Again, pag depth, constant po ang value, 0.1 or 0.10 millimeter. For the area naman, dito na papasok yung mga squares na binilangan natin kanina. So, pag WBC count, ang total area ay 4 millimeter squared. Pero kapag RBC count, 0.20 or 5/25 or simply 1/5 millimeter squared. So, etong dilution in area, nagbabago po siya based dun sa kung anong cell ang gusto mong bilangin. Ang depth, constant po siya na 0.1 or 0.10 millimeter. Ayun. So, try natin sa RBC count. RBC count muna. Ayan. So, try natin dito, no? Sabi ko na tong depth, sabi ko na tong area and dilution. What will be the unit of measurement? For conventional unit, it would be million of cells or 10 to the 6th cells per UL of blood. Pwede din namang trillion cells per liter of blood if you're going to use SI unit. So, try nating i-apply itong formula. So, for example, yan, meron ka daw ganitong values. Okay, bakit kaya dalawa yung second? So, ang ginawa ni Medtech, no, in this case study or in this example would be, nag-count tayo twice. Okay? Tapos, ang ginagawa natin ay, para sure, no, kino-compare natin yung values ng unang count natin doon sa pangalawang count. If the values are the same, if the values are similar or within an acceptable range, ibig sabihin, valid yung method natin. Pwede na tayo mag-compute for final count. Pero, kapag malayo yung distance ng ating first count sa second count, ibig sabihin, may mali. So, kailangan ulit natin. Dapat hindi hindi malaki yung pagbabago ng count sa tuwing inuulit natin siya. For RBC, what would be the acceptable count? It would be 15 to 16. So, if pinag-add natin itong lahat, tapos ito din, in-add din natin lahat, dapat ang distance niya or ang difference niya is 15 to 16 only. Okay. So, try natin, no? I will leave this to you as an assignment. Try to compute for the RBC count. So, first, anong gagawin mo? Add everything. Tapos, add also this one, these values. Check, number 1, check. Is there difference between 15 to 16 counts? If yes, proceed. If no, invalid. Lagay nyo dun sa assignment nyo, invalid. Tapos, pag valid naman, pwede na natin i-plug yung value. So, dito, compute muna natin yung RBC count. Tapos, dito, compute muna natin yung RBC count. And then, we get the average of the two. So, pag ito muna, kunyari, ang sum nito ay 658, no? Kunyari, 658. So, meron na tayong numerator, 658, divided by, so, multiply all of these, and then, get the number, tapos, save. Okay. Ganon din sa ating second count. So, kunwari, ang total number of cells counted dito ay 645. Ganon din. So, 645 divided by, tapos, pag sama-samahin mo to lahat as your denominator, and then, save ulit. And then, for our final RBC count, get the average between the two values. So, get the average between the two values. Paano naman kapag WBC count? So, ganun din. Number of cells divided by the following factors. But this time, ano na po yung area natin? 4 mm squared. Kasi nga po, we used 4 large squares. For the dilution naman, 1:20 lang. So, same procedure lang din po. Count nyo muna lahat. And then, count muna dito sa second part. The acceptable range between the two is 10 to 12 only. So, step number 1. 10 to 12 lang ba yung difference niya? Pag yes, proceed. Pag no, invalid. Okay, pag yes, proceed na to our formula and then get the average between the two, and that is your final WBC count. Okay, so again, no? The allowable differences between two chamber counts should be 15 to 16 lang po or 10 to 12. If hindi, okay, it is questionable, may nagkamali ka. So, to verify kung alin dun sa first or second count mo yung mas tama, uulitin mo na naman. So, gagawa ka na ng third count mo, no, hanggang sa hindi na sila magkalayo ng values. And another reminder is, overcharging will lead to decrease in cell count since cells will fall into the mold of the counting chamber. It is important that we allow the counting chamber to stand for at least 3 minutes, although in our procedure, we extended it to 10 after charging. And then lastly, for our reference range, eto na po sila. And that ends our pre-laboratory discussion for manual cell count, or RBC and WBC count. So I hope you were able to learn something from this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them the next time we meet. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.